Fox Sports.
It is a beautiful night for baseball at Target Field and the opening game of a 3-game series between the Twins and the Kansas City Royals. No team in the American League has a better record than the Twins because they've been getting great starting pitching. 6 quality starts in 10 games. And while the Angels, White Sox, and Red Sox have beaten the Twins once each, the Twins have not beaten themselves. They've gotten the good pitching, very good defense, but tonight the toughest challenge perhaps of the year, at least for the Bats, and they have to face the reigning Cy Young Award winner in Zach Greinke. And we welcome you to Target Field. Dick Bramer along with Burt Blyleven. A breakout season last year for Zach Greinke, the one silver lining in what was otherwise another disappointing year for Kansas City.
Well, Greinke making his 3rd start here against the Minnesota Twins. In his first 2 starts, he's 0-1. Now, he got hit around a little bit in his last start against the Boston Red Sox, gave up a couple home runs, but what a year he had last year. 16-8, leading the American League in the ERA department, second to Justin Verlander with 242 strikeouts. And this guy, when he is on, he's going to have a good slider. He's going to have a good fastball, very good changeup. That Greinke, Twins facing one of the best in the American League.
And the Twins will send up one of the hottest hitters in the American League, but the Royals have one who's been swinging the bat pretty well, too.
Well, you look at the Minnesota Twins, you think of a guy that, like you mentioned before, has hit 2 home runs here. 32 home runs last year for Michael Kadire, 8 of them against the Kansas City Royals. Kadire might be a big guy in this lineup tonight because Greinke very tough on left-handed hitters. They're going to need a right-hander to step up, and hopefully it'll be Michael Kadire. And for the Kansas City Royals, Jose Guillen. He was 3 times on this disabled list last year. A lot of injuries, had ankle surgery over the winter, but what a start he is having. 5 home runs. The Royals have hit 10 home runs as a ball club, and Guillen has 5 of them. Let's hope that Scott Baker can be very careful around this hot hitter.
Of course, the best hitter on either team is the Twins catcher Joe Mauer. Special day for Joe today as he was commemorated all around downtown Minneapolis. We'll talk more about that when we come back to Target Field in just a moment. On Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. By Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by GMC. We are professional grade.
It's the first night game in the history of Target Field. I'm Robbie and Smikowski, and the Twins this season are celebrating their 50th year as a franchise. And today around town, the first statue is unveiled of catcher Joe Mauer. And there you see him pulling the cover off the statue. That one's on the corner of 9th Street and Nicollet, right by the big Target. Each statue commemorates a certain era of Twins baseball. Today's statue commemorates the 1962 season for the Minnesota Twins. So you'll never know where you're going to see a statue pop up. And there's Joe striking a pose in front of the first Joe Mauer statue. You're going to see a lot of those throughout the 2010 season. Scott Baker goes for win number 2 and his first win here at Target Field. When we come back, it's Dick Bramer and Bert Blyleven against the Cy Young Award winner. Next.
Night game to be played at Target Field. And the pitcher waiting for his battery mate. And we know that with the unusual start times, the daytime starts in the Boston series, this might be your first opportunity to watch the Twins play on their new field. Here's the Menards batting order for the Kansas City Royals in the opener. David DeJesus, Scott Posednik, Billy Butler, Jose Guillen has been Kansas City's best hitter in the early going. Rick Ankiel, the former Cardinal, Alberto Callaspo, Jason Kendall, Yuniesky Betancourt, and Willie Bloomquist.
Well, you see a lot of good averages right there for the Kansas City Royals. They're hitting .307 as a ball club. And Scott Baker In his last start against the Chicago White Sox, I thought he did a great job of adjusting. Started up in the strike zone like he does a lot of times with that high fastball. And then later in the ball game, 7 very good innings, worked that fastball down, got the breaking ball over, and making his 13th career start against the Royals. Very good success. 7-3 with a 3.16 ERA.
Northland Ford defense for your Minnesota Twins. Delman Young in left, and Art Span in center, Michael Kadire in right. Brendan Harris getting the start at third base. Hardy and Hudson up the middle as they've been all year long. Morneau at first and Maurer behind the plate. Noon game tomorrow, another afternoon game on Sunday. Pretty good bet that Drew Butera will get a start tomorrow. But Joe
better, his whole family's here.
And the Twins, of course, with 3 series played, have won all 3 series. People still coming into the ballpark here. We expect, if not a sellout, a near sellout. And this ballpark, again, has been very well received by the Twins fans in the upper Midwest.
Well, Scott Baker making his first start here at Target Field, so a little bit nervous, I'm sure, but let's see if he can get that fastball down in the strike zone. Has a very good defense behind him. Only 1 error made by the defense for the Twins.
Up and away, ball 1 to the leadoff hitter, David DeJesus. Now, we've seen DeJesus in center field. Last year we saw him in left. This year he figures to be playing more in right field. Down the middle of strike, 1-1. DeJesus, Posednik, and Butler to face Baker here in the first.
Well, Scott Baker's pitched some of his best games at the major league level against the Kansas City Royals. Good breaking ball right there, getting that pitch over. Very important for Baker to show that breaking ball early. Good fastball. He'll mix in the curveball, the slider, and then the circle changeup. Over his last 9 starts against Kansas City, he's 7-1 with a 2.8 ERA.
A fly ball to short left field, and Hardy with a nice running catch in front of Delman Young. A good play by J.J. Hardy. He had a long run straight out toward left field.
Well, again, we have seen the defense of the Twins play some very solid baseball. It looked like he almost, when he caught this ball right here, wanted to flip it to Delman Young, who ran right by him. Nice running catch right there by J.J. Hardy.
So 1 down, and here's Scott Posednik with Brendan Harris in on the grass at third, and there's strike 1, as was discussed in the pregame show, because the Royals had yesterday off. As baseball honored Jackie Robinson, the Royals are wearing their number 42 jerseys tonight. Harris has the ball skip under his glove, and Posednik is aboard. Cool, but it's the middle of August, or April. It should be cool. And clear skies all day today. It's just gorgeous. 56 degrees. It'll drop probably in the neighborhood of 12-15 degrees before the end of the game.
Oh, keep an eye on Posednik. Already 6 stolen bases on the year. Came into that at bat, leading the American League in hitting at 457. Royals trying to run a little bit more this year. They lead the American League with 12 stolen bases. Posednik, half of them.
Error charge to Brendan Harris on that ground ball. And Billy Butler will take ball 1. Yeah, the Royals playing a smaller version of baseball, the type that really they profess to play for much of their glory years, with speedsters Willie Wilson, Frank White, and some other great young players back in the 70s into the 80s. And so the Twins need to be very aware of Posednik at first with 1 out.
Some new faces in that Royal lineup. Posednik, one of them. Rick Ankiel, the other. Jason Kendall, now the catcher. Some veterans added to a young club.
High fly to right. And Kadire first this way, then that. He's under it for out number 2. Twins baseball brought to you in Sony High Definition. 2 away. Now Jose Guillen, the designated hitter, is off to his best start as a major leaguer. 5 home runs in the last 4 games.
Yeah, hitting at .361. Of his 13 hits, 8 of them have been extra base hits. Ian signing a 3-year contract with the Royals a couple years ago. This is his final year. Hit his 200th home run just the other day against the Detroit Tigers. Again, Posednik 6 for 6 in stolen base attempts. Baker will try to make him stop. Don't try to get too big a lead, and then utilize that slide step toward home plate.
Teams, as incredible as this sounds, teams have stolen just once on the Twins. They've been charged with 5 caught stealing. They're just 1 for 6 in stolen base attempts against the Twins.
Well, that tells you a couple things, Dick. Pitchers are doing a good job of making that runner stop, and then also says that Joe Mauer is behind the plate, has an outstanding arm. So if you give that man right there an opportunity to throw out a base runner, he will do it.
Fouled away. And the Twins generally, as we discussed at the outset, doing very well, not just in the starting pitching department, but pitching overall. The Twins are 3rd in the American League. Last year they won their division, but statistically they were not a very good pitching staff. The Twins finished 10th in the American League in earned run average. And with that, we found teams stealing a lot more bases than they had in the past against the Twins. 2 strikes here to Guillen. Just off the outside corner, 1-2. So the Twins trying to tighten everything up, including paying a little bit better attention and more attention to the runners at first.
Baker making his 3rd start of the season, his 112th major league start. Ron Gardenhire watching on. 44 wins for Baker, 34 losses in his career.
And he may have caught Posednik at least leaning toward second base.
Seen it before a lot of times with 2 strikes on a hitter, especially as hot as Guillen is. That Posednik may try to go. If he's thrown out, at least Guillen gets another at-bat against Baker. Another throw over.
Well, if you're the Royals, why not? I mean, they've lost what little power they had last year. They've lost a lot of that. They don't have a nucleus of power hitters on the roster. You got to try to find a way to score some runs. And Posednik goes, and the pitch bumps up the line, foul.
Well, Posednik got an okay jump right there, but on 2 strikes, Guillen's going to have to try to protect the plate, and he fouled it off. Steve Little right there to the right of Ron Gardenhire, the bench coach for the Twins. Guillen, 33 years old, from the Dominican Republic. The Royals are his 9th different team to play for at the major league level.
Posednik stays put, and the pitch is up and in. 2-2. The Royals didn't get an abundance of home runs last year, just 144, and their team leader, Miguel Olivo, is not with the club.
Well, you saw right there Steve Little giving signs. He'll keep an eye on 3rd base coach Dave Owen. Go through signs.
And Baker strikes out Guillen. And the 1-out error does no harm to Scott Baker or the Twins. Good field, no score after a half inning. Some of the tradition wall outside on the plaza area near the outside the right field fence here at Target Field. The Menards batting order for the Twins: Denard Span leading things off, and then Orlando Hudson, Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau, Michael Kadire, Jason Kubel, Delman Young. Good numbers against Zach Greinke, J.J. Hardy, and Brendan Harris.
Let's take a look at the scouting report on Zach Greinke. Third Royal to win a Cy Young Award. Brett Saberhagen won it twice. David Cohn won it once. And he's adjusting around a nasty slider. The word is he's trying to mix in some more curveballs, but he's forgetting that slider might be one of the best sliders in the game of baseball. Struggling in his last outing. Trey Hillman, the manager, saying he's very curious to see how Greinke adjust here this afternoon or this evening.
And strike one called to Denard Span. Span with just 3 hits in the Boston series, but he reached 9 times because of his 6 walks.
A lot of times we'll see Denard Span take some pitches, but against Zach Greinke, you have to stay aggressive because he will come right at you.
And who wants to be up there with 2 strikes when a guy's got 2 or 3 pitches you can't hit, including the slider. Fastball that just missed.
He's got some movement on that fastball. Tried to go middle in to bring it back over the inner half of the plate. Jason Kendall catching Greinke. Going back inside again.
And missing.
Greinke just 26 years old, already in his 7th season with the Royals.
And now the count's full. Just 1 walk in 12 2/3 innings. And a couple of home runs allowed. Orlando Hudson on deck. Twins trying to put together a first inning threat against Zach Greinke. And not even close. He had him 0-2 and lost him, and Orlando Hudson will come up and his thoughts about facing the reigning Cy Young Award winner.
We just hope you just try to make contact. You know, a guy like he's nasty, man. He knows what he's doing. He's young, stud. Got the kind of stuff to win consecutive, Cy Youngs, and he's a bulldog on the mound.
And Greinke uncharacteristically walking Span. Nothing unusual about Span drawing a walk, but again, Greinke, one of the reasons he won the Cy Young Award, he didn't walk many people last year. Here's Hudson, who might be taking on himself the task of bunting here. We've seen Hudson do this voluntarily when they're not facing a Cy Young Award winner. I would think this would be a natural for Hudson to try to drop one down here.
Well, he's 0 for 8 lifetime against Zach Greinke with a couple strikeouts. Twins would like to get a run on the board first. Span at first base, 3 stolen bases in 4 attempts. Twins are 7-1 in stolen base attempts.
And Greinke has missed badly with 3 straight pitches. Had that 1-2 pitch that looked like it cut the plate in half. It might have been left up a little bit, and since then he hasn't really been close to the strike zone.
That's Trey Hillman right there in his 3rd season as manager of the Royals. Yeah, last couple 2-3 pitches really flying open, just trying to overthrow that fastball. See if he can make the adjustment, get the ball down. Calling out his catcher to go over something.
Two and 0. Greinke won the Cy Young Award last year, even though he did not win a game in the month of July. Now, it wasn't his fault. He pitched pretty well. It's just the Royals were offensively challenged for a good part of the year. They didn't give him much run support. 3-0 with Mauer on deck.
Well, think about Zach Greinke. He is 3-4 lifetime against the Twins, an ERA at almost 4 in 11 starts, 15 ball games. His only win here in Minnesota at the Metrodome came in relief.
And he hits the outside corner.
Watch tracks right here.
Three and one. And now a full count. Let's see if the Twins do anything with Span here. Jason Kendall does not have the strongest arm in the world, but he has survived as long as he has because of a pretty quick release.
Kendall's thrown out about 25% of potential base stealers throughout his career.
Span goes, and the pitch is taken low. So back-to-back walks, setting up Mauer in the middle of the Twins lineup.
Yeah, it looked like he threw a changeup right there on a 3-2 pitch. So Greinke, there's a defense.
Northland Ford defense for the Royals. Besednik, Ankiel, and DeJesus in the outfield. Cayasco, Betancourt, Blomquist, a late addition. Chris Getz hurt himself and was scratched from the lineup. Billy Butler at first, Jason Kendall behind the plate.
Yeah, Greinke came into this season averaging 2.3 walks per 9 innings and almost 8 strikeouts per 9.
Here's Mauer with 2 aboard, nobody out. And he takes inside. Zach Greinke's thrown 13 pitches and just 4 strikes. One and 0. Check swing and a strike. It's 1-1.
In the Hudson at bat, I was watching the speed of the pitch, and everything's in the 80s. That pitch right there, about 82. So it's like Greinke's staying away from the fastball because it doesn't feel comfortable with the fastball, using a lot of off-speed pitches.
And that sizzles over the inside corner. 1-2 at 93 miles per hour. Well, remember the last couple fastballs he threw to Denard Span weren't close to the strike zone at all.
See, the high is 93. That last pitch to Joe Mauer as low as 75.
One and 2. Fouled off his front leg.
Mauer just 6 for 27 lifetime against Greinke, a .222 average.
Greinke a year ago was the pitching story in baseball. Teams found it almost impossible to even score a run against him. Most dominant stuff the American League had seen maybe since Francisco Liriano. He had a good, not a great, second half. Liriano, of course, hoping that he's recaptured the form that he had back in 2006. Another 1-2 pitch to Mauer. Bouncer right side. And the Royals get one. And Mauer beats the relay. So Greinke gets an out. And the Twins will have runners at first and third with 1 out. And Roy Smalley, it looks like the Twins hitters are trying to be very patient with Mr. Greinke.
You know, guys, a hitter's dream and a team of hitters' dream is to have a guy that has electric stuff like Zach Greinke struggle with his control. They're going to go up there hitting the first fastball they see until Greinke proves that he's not throwing it over, which he has. A guy with this good of stuff, you really want to go up there hacking, but right away when you see Denard Span taking pitches and walking and then Hudson walking, it changes everything in the hitter's mind. You really have to make him throw the ball in there where you want to hit it.
Hey, Roy, a guy like Zach Greinke, too, you want to get him early, don't you? Because until he, then he'll get into that little nice groove.
That's absolutely right, Bert. That's the whole point. If a guy's struggling with control, you get to hit 2-0 and 3-1. You get some guys on, and it only takes one hit to clear the bases. And by the third inning, he might find that rhythm. You might not get another run.
1-1 to Morneau, and a drive down the right field line, but it'll hit foul.
Well, too, you have to remember this is a new ballpark. This is a new surroundings for pitchers when they get out on that mound. Let's see, what's the steepness of that pitching mound? You know, the background. There's so many things that Baker had to work in, you know, in the first inning. You see what Greinke's looking at. Again, I've been on the mound. It looks like you're right on top of that hitter, but it takes a while to get accustomed to that mound and everything else and your surroundings.
1-2. Got him with a high fastball. It's like the first two walks were a wake-up call to Greinke. He had Mauer and Morneau due up next, and he got Mauer on a weak little ground ball and struck out Morneau.
Well, Justin just went out of his swing zone, more or less, swinging at a pitch up in the zone, and not a good at bat for Justin.
Well, that'll bring up Michael Kadire with the Twins, hoping to take advantage of Greinke's control issues.
Well, I mentioned in the open, Kadire hit 32 home runs last year. 8 of them came against the Kansas City Royals.
Inside a ball.
Now, Greinke, very tough to hit a home run against. 229 innings last year. He gave up only 11 home runs.
And he did not give up a home run in his first 111 innings pitched last year. And he's already given up 2 this year. Inside, 2-0. It's just an un-Cy Young-like pitching line for Greinke so far. 23 pitches, 11 strikes.
Well, that's why you want to get them early. Don't let them settle in like Roy Smalley talked about.
Slow breaking ball. And he can back it off of that. 74 miles per hour. We saw him time to time last year throwing backed up into the 60s.
Well, you think you have him in a situation 2-0. You know, you're looking fastball, then he pulls the string, and then you go fishing like Kadire did.
And now 2-2. So Greinke, as wobbly as he's been here in this first inning, is one good pitch away from getting out of the inning. Kadire at the plate. Span creeping in from third base.
Kadire 4 for 19 lifetime against Zach Greinke with a home run.
2-2. And Kadire taps it foul.
I was looking at Zach Greinke against the Twins lineup. Left-handers coming in. The 5 left-handers in the lineup for the Twins hitting just 179 against Greinke. But the right-handers hitting 281 with a couple home runs. That being Kadire, Young, and Harris, and J.J. Hardy has never faced Greinke.
Kadire lifts it to right. De Jesus is there, and the Twins take a couple of walks and leave 2 aboard in a scoreless first inning.
Game at Target Field. I'm Robbie Mikowski, and I've made my way up into the control room, and we're at the controls for the Minnie and Paul sign in center field right now, and I'm with Sam Henshin, the man who runs the show. And Sam, how do you make this thing work?
Well, we have a pre-programmed button here, simply called home run. So when a home run happens, our operator clicks it. And as you can see, there's many other different situations where our operator will have to be on call to do some plays.
And you notice he said the operator will have to click it. Guess who the new operator is? You're looking at him right here.
I hope Robbie gets to use it a couple times here tonight.
Top of the second inning, and Rick Ankiel will lead things off against Scott Baker. Strike one, now ball one. Ankiel packing up from the eastern part of the state of Missouri, moving west. His first year with the Royals after those years with the Cardinals. High pop-up. Straight up in the air. And Hudson with the catch, one away. So one down, and that'll bring up Alberto Callaspo. Saw Callaspo at second base, had a good year offensively, didn't have a whole lot of range at second base, so the Royals wanted to go in a different direction. Got Chris Getz from the White Sox, and Callaspo now playing at third base because Alex Gordon got hurt. Got a sore thumb.
Yeah, Gordon rehabbing down at the minor league level. They hope to activate him here shortly. But Callaspo had a great year last year, a career year.
Another pop-up. And Mauer coming back. Not a whole lot of foul territory here.
Yeah, Callaspo last year played in 155 games for the Royals. He hit an even 300. 11 home runs, 73 RBIs.
Callaspo with back-to-back years of hitting 300. What was surprising is the power he showed last year. Didn't hit any home runs the year before. Hit 11 last year. And now inside 1 and 2. Two and 2.
That curveball just missing the outer half of the plate. Went the slider inside, then the curveball away.
And foul back and out of play.
Callaspo came up with the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 2006. This is his third season with the Royals.
And a liner to left. That's how you hit 300. A one-out single for Callaspo. Well, Smalley, your thoughts about Scott Baker so far here tonight?
Well, you know, guys, until that last breaking ball that he left up a little bit, and Callaspo hit it hard. One thing I've noticed about Scotty so far is that he's got his breaking ball working pretty well, and he's thrown it to start hitters off, getting strike one. He's thrown it to some hitters in some real good low spots, low in the strike zone to impress the hitters with breaking ball, and it makes the fastball a little sneaky and a lot quicker. He's gotten in on some guys. And Bert, we've talked about that. It's the ability for him to throw other pitches other than the fastball over for strikes, put that in the hitter's mind, and then control the fastball. But it makes his fastball that much, about 3 or 4 miles an hour quicker when you can do that.
Well, Scott Baker said himself last game he pitched against the Chicago White Sox, he made the adjustment over the first 3 or 4 innings. He was up in the strike zone. He himself said, once I started to stay back and stay on top of the ball and then work out front, that's why he was able to pitch 7 very good innings against the White Sox and win that 2-1 ball game.
And we saw right there a real nice changeup. And, you know, that pitches like that, when you're behind in the count, you throw a changeup in a fastball count, or when you're 0-1 and throw a changeup instead of a breaking ball. And the whole lineup sees that and think, you know, we don't know what he's going to throw ever.
Well, he's facing a guy, Jason Kendall, doesn't strike out much, doesn't walk much, pretty good contact hitter. Kendall in his first season with the Royals, this is his 15th Major League season, 35-year-old. Of course, his dad was a major league catcher for many years. 12 seasons at the major league level.
Up high, now it's 2-2.
Kendall actually has walked more over his career than he has struck out. He's a guy that's not afraid to get hit by a pitch.
I think he's done that about as often as he's struck out.
He's coming into this year, he's been hit and plunked 248 times. Fifth on the all-time list.
Runner goes, and the pitch fisted down the right field line, foul. Kendall trying to inside out the ball into right field. Not much power, pretty much a singles hitter. The Royals coming into this ball game, this series, having hit a lot of singles, leading the league with a .307 team batting average. Two and two to the Kansas City catcher. Just off the corner, and now with the count 3-2, pretty good bet. Cayaspo will take off again.
Kendall, a guy that you can hit and run with because of his bat control.
Cayaspo goes, breaking ball, swing and a miss. Mauer's throw could not be more perfect. And Hudson did miss the tag. We could see it all the way up here. A perfect throw, and Hudson pulled the glove away too early.
Well, Kendall does strike out, but watch Mauer's throw right on the butt. And kind of the old phantom tag right there. And second base umpire Chad Fairchild right there calling him safe.
He couldn't deliver a throw more perfectly.
So Cayaspo gets a stolen base, his first of the year.
And Betancourt with a chance to drive in the game's first run. And down and away, ball one. A stolen base for Cayaspo. No error charge. I think a lot of fans would agree. You could probably make a better case for an error on Hudson not putting the tag on a play at second base than the error the Twins were charged with Harris at third base.
Well, credit to second base umpire too, Chad Fairchild, just not calling him out because the throw beat him by 4 or 5 feet. You have to tag the runner.
2-0 to Betancourt. And there's a base hit to left. Cayaspo to third. Young comes up firing. Strong throw. And Mauer put the tag on him. Safe at second. Out at home. KCAATMIN.com. Plan your next Minnesota vacation today. You're looking at the Blue Mound State Park in southwestern Minnesota near Laverne. The cliffs of Blue Mound State Park are made of Sioux red quartzite, rising 100 feet above the surrounding plains. 13 miles total of hiking trails, and you might be able to see a herd of buffalo or prickly pear cactus bloom in June and July. Laverne about, I suppose 10 miles due east of Beaver Creek. Swing and a miss by Jason Kubel, and Greinke getting ahead quickly 0-2.
Yeah, that big slow curveball right there, and Kubel swinging through it.
1-2.
What a throw by Delman Young, and a great tag by Joe Mauer. A chance to look at that great throw and tag here at a second.
2-2. Remember, Greinke had Denard Span 0-2 to start the first inning, and then lost him to a walk. Now he's run the count full to 2-2 to Kubel with Young and Hardy to follow. Checked his swing, and now it's 3-2. Talking about Denard Span drawing some walks. Jason Kubel has been very patient at the plate and drawing some walks. Kubel with 6 walks on the season. That's hit to left and hit fairly well. Posednik is there to make the catch, but it's the Twins left fielder who's come up with a good defensive play with a long throw from Delman Young.
Well, Betancourt hit this ball sharply. Delman catching it on that second bounce right there, and then a strong throw a little bit on the infield side, but Joe Mauer catches it, and then right there dives into home plate and able to get Caspel right there before that back foot could cross the plate.
One down in the second. Delman Young will hit. And Young drives it to left, to the corner. Posednik dives and makes a sensational diving catch on the warning track. What a catch by Scott Posednik.
Well, we've seen both outfielders, left fielders, make some great plays. Delman Young with the great throw. And then the Kansas City Royals say, you know what? You threw out our runner at home. I'm Scott Posednik. I'm going to dive all out right here and make a great catch. Wow, unbelievable. Greinke saying, wow.
Here's J.J. Hardy, who takes a fastball and strike one. And now shaving the corner, strike two. Greinke walked the first 2 batters, and he seems really locked in here right now. And Hardy swings at a high fastball, foul tip. Kendall hangs on, and Greinke has a 1-2-3 second inning. Got some help from his left fielder in what might be the best catch we've seen in this new ballpark this year. The Arby's value player of the game will be. Text the word value, followed by a space in the player's name to short code 234234. And Pat Neshek. Somebody is on his computer out in the bullpen.
Might be Pat.
That's what I mean, typing in his own name. So here's Willie Bloomquist. Not a cloud in the sky all day long, and we expect to see some brilliant starshine tonight here in a little bit. Line drive, and Hardy waits, and eventually the line drive gets to him. 1 away. So 1 down, and that'll bring up DeJesus. DeJesus with a fly to left, his first time up.
We just got word that the Pasetnik's hit was a base hit, though they did not give Harris a error on that.
Well, they did, but I think they changed it.
They changed it, right.
1 strike and now 2 strikes. You know, the job of an official scorer is a tough one, and one of the unwritten rules for an official scorer is, even in the first inning, you want the first hit to be a clean hit. But that seemed to be a pretty tough error to give Harris. And then in the second inning, a couple of legitimate hits or sure hits followed, and maybe that entered into the decision.
Well, the only reason I thought it was a base hit because where Harris was playing, he was playing in on the grass, and Pasetnik just slapped the ball by him.
1-2. And fouled back. Now Baker with 40 pitches, 27 strikes, pitching as well as he did against the White Sox in his last start. At least so far. Has given up 3 hits, but thanks to some good defensive play, they have been harmless hits. And his second strikeout, third strikeout, I beg your pardon. 2 down, and that'll bring up Pasetnik. And the defense, the Lincoln Mercury Key Stat Twins with just 1 error on the season.
And that error right there, that was the error in Chicago where Delman Young threw home when Andrew Jones got that base hit to score the deciding run in that ball game, and it hit the runner in the back, and Andrew Jones went from first to second. That was it.
So Pasetnik 1 for 1. And he takes strike 1. A year ago, Pasetnik had just been signed to a minor league deal by the White Sox. And then, of course, was promoted to the White Sox and ended up having a very good year for them. Ended up getting over 500 at bats and did for them what he's done so far here for the Royals, and that is get on base, steal some bases, and generally be a pest. Pulled foul 1-2.
Well, back in 2004, he led the National League in stolen bases when he was with the Milwaukee Brewers with 70.
He was the catalyst in 2005 when the White Sox won the World Series. Fouled over the Kansas City dugout.
Nice souvenir for that young man.
That's hit to center. Span slides and makes the catch to end the inning. Couple of line drives, couple of line drive outs, and a 1-2-3 Kansas City third.
out down the right field line. I've got a neat connection of generations of Minnesota Twins fans. I've got Leanne and Dan right here, and I've got Rachel and Adam. This is husband and wife right here, and these are Rachel's parents to my right. The interesting story is Rachel here and Adam are pregnant with their first child, and the parents, Rachel's parents, attended the first ever game at the Metrodome while they were pregnant with Rachel. So how about that? Rachel was at the home opener on Monday, so an interesting connection for Minnesota Twins fans. And first, we'll go to you, Mom. What's this like seeing outdoor baseball, and what does this mean to your family?
We love it. We love it. We've really enjoyed seeing the stadium. It's just beautiful.
Interesting story, Dick and Bert.
Thank you, sir, and offer up our congratulations. Nice catch.
Hey, brought his glove, made a nice catch. Like a big first baseman's glove.
Yeah, it's TC's glove he was using. 1-2 to Brendan Harris. Up high, 2-2. Greinke hasn't given up a hit. He did walk the first two batters he faced, but the Twins couldn't do anything with his generosity. At the knees, Harris is called out on strikes. Third strikeout for Greinke.
He gives you so many different assortment of pitches. He went to the slider, the curveball, then the fastball down in the strike zone. And you can see the giddy up on that pitch right there. Knee-high, perfect pitch. Harris can't believe it. But Greinke picking up strikeout number 3.
Here's Denard Span. Got as far as third base after his leadoff walk. And Greinke teases him with a pitch just off the outside corner, ball 1. Tap foul into the Twins dugout, 1-1. Span drawing his 10th walk of the season, which right now is tied for third in the American League.
Yeah, 10 walks. He struck out only 4 times.
That's foul. Might have cracked his bat in the process. 1-2. Span was behind in the count, 0-2, before Greinke delivered 4 straight out of the strike zone. That's to the gap. And down for a hit. First Twins hit, a sharp single for Denard Span. And he's aboard here with 1 out in the 3rd.
Well, fastball left right there, and Span put a good swing on it. Rick Ankiel does a good job of getting to that ball quickly to keep Span at a single. The fastball right there. Span, good, solid swing. Just the first hit for the Twins.
And now Hudson, who drew a walk in the first. And they pitch out. Kendall almost gave it away as he was done giving the signs. He almost got into a half a crouch, it seemed like. Slow throw over to first. To right field, and a diving catch in right by DeJesus. So the Twins have hit some balls hard here. Young hit his ball pretty hard to left, and Pasednik made a sensational catch. This a very good catch in right.
Yeah, we've seen outfielders from both sides diving for balls. Makes a nice catch, and Hudson hitting it right on the butt, but DeJesus making a nice catch.
To ask DeJesus tomorrow, but it almost looked as if when he went down into his slide, he might have lost the ball in the lights. And of course, this is the first time the lights have been on going into the evening hours. Ball 1 to Mauer. Lights have been on during the daytime, but a little bit different thing here as we work through the twilight. 1-0. Joe hit a ground ball to the second baseman Bloomquist. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first.
Well, having a tough time so far getting strike one. 12 batters, only strike one on 4 of the 12. Ricky making his 139th Major League start. Again, 50 wins at the Major League level, 54 losses.
And Mauer draws a 4-pitch walk, first and second, with 2 away for Morneau.
And a third walk for Greinke.
After the Royals depart, the Twins will welcome Central Division rival Cleveland for 3 games at Target Field. Off day coming up on Monday. The series starts Tuesday night. Tickets available for all 3 games beginning next Tuesday night. So go online to twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS to check availability. More outdoor baseball coming up here at Target Field. The Twins in Cleveland starting Tuesday. The Indians leading Mark Burley and the White Sox 6-2 in the bottom of the 8th at Progressive Field.
Let's see if Justin right here maybe tries to corral his swing a little bit better than he did in his first at-bat. Swung at a couple pitches up in the strike zone, ended up striking out against Greinke.
Down and in ball 1.
Justin, good day at the plate yesterday, his best day yet. 3 hits in his last 3 at-bats, one of them an RBI single. In that 8-0 win over the Red Sox.
1-0. Missing inside.
Hey, Roy, a lot of times when you go up there, Justin's first at-bat looked like he was trying to, do too much. Your next at-bat, you try to calm down, look for a certain pitch.
A little bit more patient, a little more selective. A lot of times you give a pitcher with good stuff too much credit. You see the first, you want to hit the fastball, and you see a fastball and you just swing at it. And he went up the zone and up the ladder and got Justin a high pitch. I know Justin was mad at it. You can see him already taking a little bit longer look at the ball. It happens a lot when a guy's got really, really good stuff and you give him a little too much credit. Say, boy, I better hit the first fastball I see, and you don't give yourself time to make it be a.
Does he have the green light right here?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, turning loose here.
And a 4-pitch walk to Mauer, a 4-pitch walk to Morneau, and they're loaded up now for Kadire.
Well, second hiccup of the game for Greinke. He led off the ball game by walking 2 batters. Now he's walked Mauer and Morneau. And Bob McClure, the pitching coach. Quick trip to the mound by Bob McClure. Bob McClure in his 5th season as pitching coach for the Kansas City Royals. Something for a while there. They were having a pitching coach every year up until Bob McClure finally became the pitching coach. How do you get the consistency when every year you have a new pitching coach with new philosophies? And Bob McClure, a teammate of mine with the Angels when I pitched out there, very, very solid pitching coach.
And still entering here at the Target Field. Well, it goes beyond that, though. They've had 1 winning record in the last 20 years, the Royals have. And since 1985, since Dick Hauser led them to a World Series championship, they've had 10 different managers. So, yeah, pitching coaches and managers, it's not been the most stable situation. Kadire with the bases loaded and 2 out. Inside a ball. That is 9 straight out of the strike zone by last year's Cy Young Award winner.
29 strikes, 29 balls for Zach Greinke.
And a curve. Remember when Kadire was up in the first inning, he fell behind 2-0. Michael was geared up for the fastball, and he threw a very similar pitch to get him to swing and miss.
That's the confidence you have as a pitcher out there. In a fastball situation, you have the confidence in throwing your second or third best pitch.
As a hitter, you have to be able to look at it long enough to identify it when in a fastball. Make sure it's a fastball to hit. When you're looking fastball, I know you're geared up for it, but you have to take just that split-second look to make sure it's a fastball, because if you swing at one in the dirt because you're looking fastball and you're out in front of that, you get the count back in Greinke's favor. So you just have to have the discipline to make sure it's the pitch you want.
Well, big pitch right here. Greinke does not want to go 3-1 with Kadire.
2-2.
He went with a fastball outer half of the plate, and Kadire fouled it straight back.
Kadire came up with 2 men aboard in the first, and then ended the inning with a medium deep fly ball to right. Now the bases are loaded.
A grand slam has not been hit here yet at Target Field.
2-2. Kadire to the right field corner. 2 will score on a Kadire 2-run double.
Well, he got that fastball again. It looked like that he fouled off. This time he went with it and taking it into that right field corner. Good at bat right there for Kadire, just taking that ball the other way. That ball slices away from De Jesus. By the time he could get that ball back in, 2 runners have scored, and Kadire, a big hit against Zach Greinke.
Yeah, that's absolutely great hitting right there with 2 strikes against that kind of stuff. That's great. A great at bat.
Here's Kubel. Splintered his bat. Strike 1. To do that, it almost looked like he hit it right off the end of the bat.
A little out front right there, right off the tip of the bat.
Hooked foul. 2 strikes. And the Twins breaking out on top here. Kubel hoping to deliver another 2-out hit that might score a run or 2. Popped up the other way, back into the seats.
Well, because of the 4 walks, Zach Greinke already with 65 pitches here with 2 outs in the 3rd inning.
Problem for the Royals hasn't been starting pitching for the most part. They've gotten very good starting pitching. The problem has been the final innings and getting some outs at the end of ball games. The Royals are 4-5, and they'll tell you they think they could very easily be 6-3 or 7-2.
It doesn't help when the bullpen has an ERA over 7.
Kubel checks his swing. It's 1-2. Bullpen that was the worst in the American League last year and is off to an even worse start this year. I think Joe West thinks the games are too long. Ask Trey Hillman. If he could get the game shortened to 7 innings, he'd be a happy man. One and 2 to Kubel. Half swing, did he go? Strike 3. Kubel's gone. So Greinke, with his second bout of control problems, pays for it this time here in the 3rd, thanks to a Kadire 2-run double. And eventually the Twins scored a couple of runs.
Yeah, Zach Greinke, a lot of pitches so far, 67 pitches in 3 innings. Kadire with that big 2-run double, scoring the 2 runs for the Twins. And Baker so far so good, 3 shutout innings. No walks for Baker.
Royals with 3 hits, and they've hit some line drives for outs too. Here's Baker facing Billy Butler leading off the 4th. And a first pitch strike.
Well, we talked yesterday about the importance for Francisco Liriano. Look at that beautiful view right there. But, 27 batters, 18 first pitch strikes so far. Baker 9 of 12.
That's to right field, and Kadire comes in, makes the catch.
Hey, and he stayed on his feet. That outfielder was supposed to dive.
1 down in the 4th inning. AT&T trivia question. Who was the winning pitcher in the last game at Metropolitan Stadium? Well, the Kansas City Royals were the opponent, and I know the Twins lost. So who might it have been back in 1981? Maybe Larry Gura, Paul Splithorf. Bouncer toward short, and Baker gets a rare ground ball out, his first of this ball game, 2 down.
Yeah, Baker again, not much of a ground ball pitcher, but he gets a hot Jose Guillen to jump on that first pitch and hit that ground ball out.
Dennis Leonard, maybe. I mean, who else are we considering with the Royals back in that era?
How about Dan Quisenberry if it was maybe late in the ball game?
Yeah. 2 down. Here's Rick Ankiel. And Baker pumps a strike over to Ankiel. 50 pitches, 36 strikes for Baker. Line foul. We've talked about this before. Let's imagine you're Scott Baker and you're pitching against the reigning Cy Young Award winner. Now, I know you get up for every start, but you get a little extra jacked up when you're facing somebody when you realize this is very likely going to be a 2-1, 1-0 ball game.
Well, you know what? I mean, Baker's coming off that last start where he was hooked up with Freddie Garcia until Kubel hit the 2-run home run in the 7th inning, and he made him a 2-1 winner. Baker so far so good. 4 strikeouts in a 2-0 Twins lead.
By Grand Casino Mille Lacs and Grand Casino Hinckley. By Lincoln Mercury. Visit your local Lincoln Mercury dealer or go to experiencelm.com. And by AT&T, a better 3G experience. Delman Young with a drive to left center field. Don't hit it to him anymore. Young has hit 2 line drives, 1 down the line, and Posednik made one of the best catches of the year, and this a very nice running catch.
Well, Delman Young last year against the Kansas City Royals hit 5 home runs, but he got good wood on that ball right there, but it's Posednik again, this time going to his left. to make a nice running catch. You're right. Don't hit it to that guy anymore. Hit it over his head. Hit it up bleachers.
Twins, maybe to a greater extent, Twins fans have wanted Delman Young to pull the ball, and you can look at the two at bats here and say, look, I've hit the ball hard twice to left field. Look what happened.
I'm going back to right.
There's J.J. Hardy. And a strike.
Well, Hardy, in his last at-bat, the first time he faced Zach Greinke and ended up striking out. Good hard breaking ball right there by Greinke.
1-2.
Greinke with 4 walks in a ball game, 4 strikeouts, giving up only 2 hits.
2-2. Hardy dribbles it up the line. That's going to be a very tough play. And Hardy gets an infield hit. Back to our AT&T trivia question. Who won the last game at Metropolitan Stadium? Well, Roy Smalley made the final out at the Met.
Oh, yeah, you got to bring that up.
Well, but in all likelihood, it wasn't probably against the winning pitcher.
Oh, but it absolutely was.
He went the distance?
He went that distance against us the last game, and I walked up with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th against Larry Gura.
Wow.
And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to settle for a measly single. I'm either going out with a home run or I'm going to make the last out. And he threw me a fastball down the middle. I got my pitch and I popped it up. I've never been so mad. I mean, it was right there. I was ready to make history in a positive way, and I got to live with the last out.
Hey, the Twins have asked me to do some year-by-year little clips that they run here at the ballpark, and that was the clip that they used tonight, the 1981 Twins. He had in that season the interrupted season, the 2 half seasons, if you will, and then part of the script that they prepared for me, they were in the final game at Metropolitan Stadium, the final outdoor baseball game until Monday, and there were like 8,000 people who bought tickets for the game.
Yeah, it was a disappointing season all the way around. You would have thought that more people would have come out to see the last game, but that was the year of the strike. I had just a miserable season. I'd hurt my back early and didn't really play in very many games that year. And I think for all of us, players and fans alike, it was a forgettable season.
1-1 to Harris. That's up the middle and a base hit. Hardy will go to second base, and the Twins getting some better swings against Greinke the second time around.
Well, an infield base hit by J.J. Hardy, and then Greinke looked like he tried to go in on Harris, and boy, did he open up quick and hit that ball up the middle.
Second time through the order, the Twins have reached 6 times.
Always watch the catcher, and you see Jason Kendall sitting inside, and Harris opening up quickly and lining it up the middle for his first hit. The 4th for the Twins.
He did open up quickly, but the other thing he did, as he opened up, he really threw his hands way inside. He saw he was getting beat on that fastball in, threw his hands way inside, which enabled him to get the bigger end of the bat to the ball. That was a real good piece of hitting on a tough pitch.
Span fouls it, I think, off himself. He never left the batter's box. 1 strike.
You watch Brendan Harris right here. He's beat. Now throw his hands inside real quick and get the big end. If he continues his normal swing, he gets the bat broken. But by throwing his hands inside there, it shortens up his swing and gets more of the big end of the bat to the ball. He was able to muscle it through the infield.
That's what amazes me about hitting, Roy, how quick guys' hands are. I know you had quick hands, and right there, Harris making the adjustment. I mean, in a split second, you have to do that.
Yeah, you have about 4 or 5 tenths against Greinke. You got about 4 tenths per second on a fastball, and you got less than that to make that little tiny adjustment. That happens in the last 5 or 6 feet of the ball traveling to the plate. And it's amazing to watch big league hitters and the adjustments that they can make.
And right here, this guy right here at the plate, Bernard Span, how well he stays back, and then right at the last second, pop. I mean, he did a great job yesterday against Wakefield on that knuckleball, just wait, and then popped it down that right field line.
Yeah, this fella right here, Denard Spann, you saw the base hit he got against Granke last time. He's got some really, really quick hands and a solid swing.
And he hits a double play ball here.
Hit it too good.
And Granke pitches out of it in the 4th inning. On to the 5th, 2-0 Twins.
State Lottery Winner's Circle with Tina Bankston with $100 in Minnesota State Lottery tickets. And look at this road trip that she organized. It's actually a school class trip. Look at this, a 20-hour day, 55 students, 3 teachers. What else we got? $6,800 spent, 360 miles, 109 people coming here as we have a 3-1 ground out as Scott Baker covers. And guys, she deserves a lot of credit for putting together a trip like this. Bert and Dick, you guys have no shot of ever organizing something like this in one day.
Wait a minute, 55 students, only 3 teachers?
Yes.
Wow.
That's right, 55 students, 3 teachers.
I never had a
360
teacher like
miles.
That.
Yeah, this was a heck of a job here. And everybody's having fun, right? And the priceless sign, of course, the fact that they're at a game. We're having a blast out here.
And I think you and about 40,000 others are having a great time here.
Absolutely.
The first night game here at Target Field. And Scott Baker's making pretty quick work of the Royals. He's retired 7 in a row. He hasn't given up a base runner since Delman Young threw out Cayaspo at the plate to wrap up the second.
You know, Dick, you asked me last inning about Baker maybe thinking that Zach Greinke is his mound opponent, but Zach Greinke probably thinking, you know what? This guy right here, Scott Baker, he's been pretty tough on my club. I better put some zeros on the board.
2 quick outs here in the 5th. We're in the home stretch for the 2010 census. Not too late. Fill out and mail back your census form in tomorrow's mail. 2 down, and here's Yuniesky Betancourt. Betancourt hit the single to left, and Cayaspo, who was at second, tried to score, and Delman Young with a good throw, and Joe Mauer with a good tag, and that was the end of the threat and the second inning.
Yeah, Baker has set down 8 straight Kansas City Royal batters.
What a magnificent sight. Now that the sky is pitch black, there's a drive to center. Denard Spann going back at the wall. It's gone. A home run for Yuniesky Betancourt. And the Twins' lead is cut in half.
Oh, this is the first home run we have seen to straightaway center or left center. Betancourt got a fastball and hit that ball a long way. His second home run of the year. And it's a 2-1 Twins lead. Betancourt showing off some power right there. Straightaway center into the bullpen for the Kansas City Royals.
answering the question, will the ball carry if you hit it well enough to left center field? That was a long drive over the 411 mark. Well, it's 8:30 at night. The sun has set. We do have the pitch black sky that we've admired so much in Kansas City for night games. The ball will go up, and the fielders will be able to see it glowing against the blackened sky. Swing and a miss by Bloomquist, and it's 1-2.
Now Bloomquist, a late addition to the lineup for the Kansas City Royals. Chris Getz, the shortstop, or excuse me, the second baseman, had some tightness in the rib area. So Bloomquist starting the game at second base.
Swing and a miss, and Baker polishes off Bloomquist and ends the fifth. But the number 8 hitter goes deep to cut the Twins' lead in half. It is a beautiful night for baseball at Target Field. Bauer and Morneau will hit, but first Orlando Hudson will lead off the fifth inning. Robbie and Smikowski, Roy Smalley, Burt Blatov, and Dick Bramer. Very happy to be here. Very happy to be privileged to bring you Twins baseball tonight from this magnificent ballpark. Telling somebody today, and I don't know if you'd agree with me or not, teams have gotten new ballparks regularly over the last 15-20 years. I don't know, though, with the possible exception of Seattle, that a team has had arguably the worst ballpark in the major leagues and gone immediately into the best ballpark. And I wonder if that's not what we're experiencing here, a little ballpark whiplash. Because this is about as good as it gets if you're a baseball fan. In the dirt to Hudson.
I want to see Ozzie Guillen's reaction when he first walks into this ballpark. That's all I want to see. I just want to see his facial expressions. Ozzie Guillen, one of many managers that did not like the Metrodome.
2-2 to Hudson, trying to get aboard here in the Twins' fifth. Off speed pitch, and it just missed the outside corner.
Early this afternoon, I had a chance to talk to Trey Hillman, the manager of the Royals, and you know they had the off day yesterday here in Minnesota. He came to the ballpark and had a chance to walk around, and he said one place he couldn't get to, line drive right there under the glove of Billy Butler into right field. So Hudson will be credited for a base hit. He wanted to get to the Budweiser top of the roof up there, and they wouldn't let him up there.
Leadoff hit here in the 5th. If you're traveling this season, take the Twins with you. You can subscribe to MLB.tv and see Twins games live or on demand. Get your subscription tonight at twinsbaseball.com, MLB.tv. Baseball's everywhere, and I have a subscription, and I love watching the out-of-market games. I'm able to watch the White Sox-Indians game tonight. Here's Mauer.
We better hurry up because it's over with.
Yeah, it's over with. I was watching it before we hit the air.
Oh, okay.
Joe's not had a hit in 10 plate appearances.
Oh, let's trade him.
Average plummeting to 343.
Yeah, really.
Oh, sure, he's gotten a couple walks in there, but
scored a couple runs.
I'm going to put statues of you all over town.
Called a shutout yesterday.
Yeah. 2-0 to Mauer. To left and hit well. Pasednik makes another great catch in left field. He has gone to his right, he has gone to his left, and now he's gone back on a ball to spear a line drive.
Well, we talked about that track right there, right? Pasednik, 1, 2, and then he leaps. Again, you know, these outfielders, see the track, he leaps right there. I don't think he knew exactly where he was, but that ball got on him in a hurry. He had to leap to catch that nice play.
Here's Morneau, a strikeout and a walk. He walked on 4 pitches as Mauer did right in front of him. Hudson flops back to the bag.
Hudson has not tried a stolen base attempt yet this year. He has 50 stolen bases in his career.
Of course, we haven't seen much of him lately because he's been in the National League, but that, to me, when I saw that, was a surprisingly low number. When he was in Toronto, he seemed like a player that had accumulated a lot more stolen bases by now.
50 stolen bases in 69 attempts.
Morneau lifts it foul and out of play, 1-1. See, that's somewhat what I remember when I was a kid and I first walked into Met Stadium. When I first got a view of the field in my first major league game, the green grass. 2-1. With groundskeeper Larry DeVito before the game today, he said the field got through the rain in good shape. You just don't want too many of those because the field gets torn up with the spikes. Outside again, 3-1. Kadire on deck. He's driven in the 2 Twins runs. 7th 3-ball count for Greinke, and he's walked 4 of those guys. To left, and now Pasednik has to come in, and it's a base hit. So they finally found a spot to drop a ball out of Pasednik's range tonight.
Well, that looked like it's right off the end of the bat. And Pasednik, I think, all the way, he knew he couldn't get to it. He just had to get to it and get it back in. See that right off the end of the bat? Actually, the bat just exploded right there in the hands of Justin. Lands in front of Pasednik. He gets it back in quickly. So Justin picks up his first hit of the ball game, and then for the Twins, their 6th.
Kadire drove in the 2 runs for the Twins with an opposite field double. And now he fouls the first pitch back. Came up with 2 men on in the first inning and hit a fly ball to right. Came up with 3 men on in the 3rd and drove one into the right field corner to put the Twins up 2-0.
That's a good take right there, because in his first 2 at-bats, we saw Kadire go after that pitch.
Farnsworth warming up in the Kansas City pen with Greinke approaching 100 pitches thrown. Only one out here in the 5th. Grounder to third. Callaspo. The ball dropped at second base and everybody's safe. Callaspo not used to playing third base, and he delivered a throw catchable but low to Bloomquist.
Oh, you have a utility guy at second base too with Chris Getz. You know, a late scratch. Bloomquist can play all over the place, but he looked like he threw him a sinker right here, and Bloomquist maybe tried to turn it too quick. Got it, and then just took his eye off the ball, and Justin hustling in. And the error will be given to Bloomquist at second base.
And now they're loaded up again for Kubel. Kubel with a fly ball to left in the second, and then on a check swing he didn't agree with. He was rung up by third base umpire Mike Riley. Chance to break the game open with the bases loaded and only one out. Just off the corner, ball one.
Changeup right there.
Four guys who typically will hit in the middle of the Twins lineup. Mauer, Morneau, Cuddyer, and Kubel should by season's end combine for in the neighborhood of 120 home runs. 2-1. Remember in '87, the Twins almost had four players, all with 30. Mount Crushmore, Gaetti, Herbeck, Bernansky, and Puckett. Kubel with 2 so far on the season. 3-1.
And he has not thrown him a fastball yet in this at bat. Might get one here. This will be Greinke's 101st pitch.
Bases loaded walk. And the Twins get the run back. They lost in the top of this inning.
I'm surprised Greinke did not throw Jason Kubel one fastball. We'll do a pitch by pitch from Greinke to Jason Kubel. He missed with the curveball. Then he threw him a very good changeup right here. And then another changeup missing down. And he got behind 3-0. And misses low for ball 4. So Kubel picking up an RBI, his 6th of the year.
And now Delman Young, who's been robbed of 2 hits by left fielder Scott Posednik. Ball 1. Blasted to center, and Keel is there for the catch. And Delman Young has spanked the ball right on a button 3 times. A sacrifice fly in the second run of the inning.
And Delman Young picks up RBI number 8 on the year. 3 very good at bats, and he does his job. At least gets one more run in. Twins take a 4-1 lead.
Now, J.J. Hardy. Hardy dribbled an infield hit in front of the third baseman, Callaspo, last inning. Inside a ball. know that anyone would have thought that if Greinke were to be beaten tonight, he would end up beating himself. But that's kind of what's happened.
Yeah.
The walks have just, even the first inning, they didn't score, but he had to pitch his tail off to get out of that first inning.
105 pitches, 55 strikes, unlike Zach Greinke. I mean, 50 balls so far with 5 walks and 4 strikeouts.
1-1 to J.J. Hardy. And now 1-2. Fake to third and look at first. Tonight's game, the beginning game of this series, but also the beginning of an important stretch for the Twins. For the next 3 weeks, they will play within the division. And they'd love to start that streak with a win here tonight. 2-2. There's very little we know about the 2010 season for the Twins, for the Tigers, for the White Sox. The one thing we can pretty much bet on is whoever wins the division is going to have the best record within the division. 2-2. Hardy swings and misses, and Greinke struggles with his control again. A bases loaded walk. An error for the Royals, and 2 runs for the Twins.
And cooling systems game day forecast. I'm AccuWeather.com's Kate Bilo. Tomorrow's game against the Royals at Target Field. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. It's going to be a mild and sunny day. First pitch temperature 61 and just a bit breezy.
Well, I can't wait for tomorrow to get here. We've still got 4 innings yet tonight.
Yeah, we want to win tonight. Good response for the Twins offense, even though those 2 runs were unearned against Greinke. After the Betancourt home run, the Twins added 2 to make it a 4-1 lead.
And Baker has been the antithesis of Greinke. Greinke's fallen behind hitters and thrown a high percentage of pitches out of the strike zone. For Baker, 62 pitches, and 3/4 of them have been strikes. That's to the gap, though, in right center field. It'll be down for a hit. And DeJesus has his first hit. It'll be an extra base hit, and he walks 3. And it'll be a triple leading off the 6th inning for David DeJesus.
Well, the first triple hit here at Target Field. And see if they take that ball out of play. DeJesus with his first triple of the year. Well, the breaking ball right there just kind of left up. Looked like a slider, a spinner. Span ends up getting it back in, but DeJesus with a triple.
Pasednik takes ball one. Pasednik with a single in the first inning, slapped on under the glove of Brendan Harris, and then he hit a liner to Denard Span in the third. Soft liner, Hudson with the catch. One away. Doing more on defense, brought to you by the Home Depot, and Scott Pasednik's had a great game in the field.
Well, he really has. I mean, we saw some great catches from Pasednik off the Delman Young. Look at him stretched out, diving for the ball, comes up with a great play right there. Again off the bat of Delman Young, this time going to left center, making a nice catch, and over the head makes a nice catch off the bat of Joe Mauer.
Here's Billy Butler. Twins leading by 3 runs. The infield playing back. That ball rifled to right field. It's a base hit. DeJesus will score. And it's a 4-2 ball game. So Butler, who's hit the ball to the opposite field all 3 times, gets a base hit to drive into Jesus from third base.
Yeah, Butler, a youngster for the Kansas City Royals. Very, very good hitter. Came into this season a .291 hitter in his 4th season. Takes a lot of pitches the other way. Jumped on that first fastball, picking up his 9th RBI of the year.
Bring up Jose Guillen. Guillen with some interesting news that he revealed last night during the off day, that he was in serious shape, feared for his life, and was convinced he'd never play baseball again because of blood clots. At the end of last season, he was hospitalized for nearly 3 weeks, and he said his legs were black and blue. He was fearful he might never walk or play baseball again, and he's thrilled to be playing the game. Lost a lot of weight, is building his strength up, and off to his certainly his best start since he became a Kansas City Royal.
Yeah, 3 stints on a disabled list last year for Guillen. Right hip problem, then his right knee strain, and then later leg injuries put him on a disabled list.
And Baker delivers strike 2.
And Guillen over the winter also had surgery on that right ankle. So he got a tough year.
Played in the field last year, primarily a designated hitter this year. And another base hit, 3rd of the inning. The only out recorded on a soft line drive hit to Hudson. And the Royals get the tying run on here.
Yeah, with breaking balls right now, Baker just kind of flat.
And as the night has fallen, the temperature has fallen, and Robbie Ince-Mikowski has found some relief.
I have, and it's a good alternative if you're hanging out here in left field just into foul territory. They have these heat lamps here, and they actually go all the way around the lower concourse level. And I don't even need to wear gloves under here because it's so warm, and all my friends here are hanging out, and none of them are wearing gloves. Their ice cream is melting. So another good alternative, if you make your way down here to Target Field and you get a little bit chilly, head up to the concourse under the heat lamps. There's a great view because you could see the action from anywhere in this ballpark.
Swing and a miss by Ankiel.
Thank you, Robbie. Stay warm.
Swing and a miss on the first pitch from Baker, who's suddenly seen the Royals come back at him here in the 6th. Only had 3 hits coming into the inning and 3 more here in the 6th. And 2 strikes.
Oh, Ankiel, one of those hitters, does not get cheated. Of course, we all know Rick Ankiel, once a left-handed reliever for the St. Louis Cardinals. Had a lot of control problems as a pitcher. Became a hitter. Career .250 hitter.
2 strikes.
Did some starting, did some relieving.
And fouled away. We see it occasionally from time to time. A position player turned into a pitcher. Rarely do you see a major league pitcher turn into a position player. And he was brought aboard here by Kansas City to provide a little pop.
Now, that guy named Babe Ruth was pretty good.
That's true. 2 strikes to Ankiel. And a foul back. Last year, the Kansas City Royal outfielders hit a total of 30 home runs. And so the Royals hope that by bringing Ankiel to the west side of Missouri, that he'll be able to provide a little pop from the outfield position. 2 strikes. Baker trying to put him away. And a breaking ball missing, 1-2. Check his swing, 2-2. Where the Royals have only threatened when they've gotten hits, the Twins' threats have been centered around Greinke's walks. Baker hadn't walked anybody. Flip foul, out of play again. As we have pointed out again here tonight, Baker, when he gets outs, typically gets them on pop-ups or fly balls. And while he'd love to get Ankiel on a ground ball here, maybe get a double play.
Only 2 ground ball outs so far from Baker against the Royals. 8 fly ball outs.
And all the fouls have been hit up in the air. There's a strikeout as Baker flips an off-speed pitch up there and gets a swinging strike 3.
Yeah, that might have been the circle changeup right there. Good location down and away, and Baker picks up his 6th strikeout. So the good movement on that circle changeup.
We'll bring up Tyaspo. Tyaspo with a single in the second, thrown out at the plate by Delman Young. And then he hit a ground ball to Justin Morneau in the 5th. Jesse Crane warming up in the bullpen. We've been told that Pat Neshek is unavailable today, still struggling with that sore flexor tendon in the middle finger of his right hand. Jose Majaras also has some elbow issues. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Another good changeup right there. Rick Anderson keeping a close eye on Baker.
This will be his 80th pitch. One and 2. .80 pitches, 60 strikes, just 20 balls for Scott Baker. One and 2. Rolled to Morneau. He'll go to the bag and end the threat. The Royals get 1 but leave 2, and the Twins still lead by a pair. inning, and it's time for the Coors Light Freeze Can.
This coming in the second inning. What a throw by Delman Young, but a great tag by Joe Mauer, getting Kayaspo out at home.
The Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Can. And Mauer with a big tag at the plate to keep the Royals off the board. And Kyle Farnsworth comes out of the Kansas City pen in relief of Zach Greinke.
Yeah, Farnsworth in his second season with the Royals, making his 5th relief appearance. Good sinking fastball from Farnsworth in the mid-90s. Hard slider and a split finger.
And he'll face Brendan Harris, Denard Span, and Orlando Hudson. Harris getting the start today. Nick Punto has a little bit of a groin pull. And so Harris gets the start. Punto will be held out for a game or two. So the Twins beat the Red Sox 2 out of 3, but they got dinged up a little bit with Neshek, Maharis, and Punto all unavailable for the game tonight. 1-0. Royals considered turning Farnsworth into a starting pitcher spring training. Inside now, he's always been known as, a hard thrower. I don't know that his secondary pitches are as notable as what has been a pretty good fastball. And the Royals wanting to find some role for him. Thought of him perhaps as a starting pitcher. Here's a drive to left and a base hit. So Harris gets his second hit of the night.
Well, that's one of those secondary pitches right there, the slider, and he just left it up.
You can submit a question to us or offer up a comment online at carsoup.com/baseball. Eric Bauer from Bancroft, Iowa, wondering, has Joe Nathan ever put the dirt from the mound at the Dome onto Target Field yet?
There's Joe Mauer right there getting some, Joe Nathan getting some dirt.
And we checked with Joe today, and of course he's not going to pitch this year, and he's going to wait, he says, until he takes the mound here at Target Field, and then he'll drop the dirt from the Metrodome here onto the mound at Target Field. Here's Span. Bunting it foul, 1 strike. Bancroft, Iowa, by the way, just across the Iowa-Minnesota border, just a little bit south and west of Sway City.
Well, you mentioned Farnsworth, maybe a starter. The last time he started a ball game at the major league level, you go to 2000. He came up with the Cubs as a starter, then the Cubs put him in the bullpen. Made 26 major league starts in 658 now appearances.
See, the Royal bullpen hasn't exactly backed up their Cy Young Award winner with effective relief pitching.
Well, the bullpen coming in, 2 wins, 3 losses out of that bullpen with a couple saves, but a 7.31 ERA. Only the Angels bullpen has a higher ERA.
And we mentioned they had the worst relief pitching in the American League last year. 2 strikes to Span. And Farnsworth hits Span and sends him to first base.
Well, it looked like that slider right there, and Span trying to hang in there as long as he can. See the pitch, little cutter, and got Span, looked like on the right elbow.
Span still going for a stroll, trying to get the feeling back. And that right arm looked like he got hit right in the point of the elbow. Corner infielders up, anticipating a Hudson bunt. Up and away, ball one.
Well, of course, Orlando would like to bunt that ball over to Caiaspo at third base, make him field it. That opens up third base for Harris to get over there. Billy Butler, the first baseman, will be charging.
And Hudson reaches across the plate and bunts it foul.
Hudson with one sacrifice on the year. Bob McClure coming out again. I think that play was put on where Caiaspo stayed back and Farnsworth didn't charge toward the mound. I wonder if that's why Bob McClure came out.
He seems to be addressing the entire infield,
right,
not just the pitcher.
Yeah, you put a play on, you want to run right, and maybe that's why Bob McClure and Trey Hillman said, hey, get out there. And you're going to put that play on where the third baseman kind of holds his ground. The pitcher needs to get over there to cover that third base line.
One and one to Orlando Hudson. Of course, Mauer and Morneau to follow. Showed no signs of bunting there and taking ball 2, 2-1.
Scotty Alger going through the signs at third base.
Three and one. That time Hudson did square the bunt but took the pitch.
And you have to throw a strike right here if you're the pitcher. You have to get at least one out. Farnsworth now in a hole, 3-1.
Left-hander Dusty Hughes warming up in the Kansas City pen. That's a foul ball, and it'll be a full count to Hudson.
Now the Royals carrying 8 relievers out in that bullpen. Two left-handers, 6 right-handers. So Bob McClure and Trey Hillman in their bullpen.
Full count, nobody out. Twins threatening here in the 6th. Up a couple of runs. You mentioned the 13 pitchers, and then Getz gets hurt. So there are only 2 bench players left. One of them's a backup catcher. There's not a whole lot Trey Hillman can do in terms of maneuvering what little bench he has, but plenty of relief options. And Farnsworth isn't helping matters. He's given up a base hit. He's hit a batter. He's walked a guy. They're loaded up for Mauer. And that'll be the end of the line for Kyle Farnsworth, with Joe Mauer showing the unveiling of one of the statues in downtown Minneapolis. Some unique Third time the Twins have had the bases loaded in the ball game. They've yet to empty the bases, although Michael Kadire did drive in a couple of runs with a double. And Maurer will have an opportunity here in the sixth.
Yeah, when Dusty Hughes came into the ball game, Joe Maurer went over toward the Twins dugout and asked Joe Vavra, "What's this guy have?" Dusty Hughes, just 27 years old, a September call-up last year. So not probably much as far as the scouting report on Hughes. Appeared in only 8 ball games last year, made only 1 start.
Maurer lined to left fielder Pusednik his last time up. Ball 1. And Trey Hillman have seen this far too often already this year. They've had games, well, a couple of them with Detroit, where they had a lead late, and the Tigers came back and stole one from the Kansas City bullpen. You could almost see Hillman in that shot wanting to cover his eyes. Didn't want to watch this again. To center and deep. And Keel back. Catch is made. It's a sacrifice fly, and Hudson will dig for third and reach as well. Span, going from second to third. So Maurer drives in a run with a deep line drive to center.
Well, Maurer picking up his 8th RBI of the year. Good wood on it, straightaway center. And Keel has to go back. Started Joe Maurer off with a breaking ball for ball 1. And then a little pitch by pitch. There's ball 1 right there. And then Hughes came in with a fastball. And Joe gave it a ride.
You throw it to that spot, to that hitter, you're lucky you've only given up 1 run.
You know, good base running by Denard Span, because he went halfway. He was thinking that maybe that ball was over the head, but he went halfway, went back, tagged up, and still made it over to third.
Outside, ball 1. Every time the Royals have scored, the Twins have answered. They scored in the 5th. 1 run, the Royals did. The Twins answered with 2. Royals scored in the top of this inning, and the Twins have come back with at least 1 here in the bottom of the inning.
And saw Jason Kubel right there. They may have just talking about Hughes, how quick his release is. It's kind of a short armor, but the ball comes out very quickly.
Slow breaking ball that covers the inside corner, 1 and 2. And I don't think Morneau agreed with the strike call, but at the same time probably hoping that Hughes throws him that slow breaking ball 1 more time. Nice block by Kendall, and the count is even.
Remember the other day when Boston was in, Scott Atchison came in. And he's almost as a right-handed reliever, but from Hughes almost the same way. Very quick hands right there. Very quick at releasing that ball, and a good job right there by Kendall. Some guys have long arms, and some guys are very short and quick when they release that baseball.
Popped up. Straight up. 2 down. Runner still on the corners, and now Kadire. And here's my call for the weekend. Michael's homered in the last 2 ball games here, and I've got him going deep here.
I like the call. I hope it works out for you.
At the knees on the inside corner. The home run Kadire hit yesterday, just in the pocket down the left field line, just fair and just over the wall. I asked him today, I said, were you like me? Did you think it was a fly ball? He said, a fly ball? I thought it was a pop-up. And he got it up into the wind, and it kept on carrying. One and one. Over the roof of the Twins dugout. 1-2. White Sox lost 6-2 to the Indians. Tigers and Mariners are just underway. Tigers are the team this weekend that has to play outside the division. To right field. And deep. Caught right at the base of the fence by DeJesus.
Well, the Royals outfield have been all over this place.
Catching rockets all over the outfield. The Twins settle for the 1 and the 6.
Game summary. Twins took an early 2-0 lead. Scott Baker has been outstanding. What's he got? 6 strikeouts in a ball game. No walks for Baker. 81 pitches. Kadire getting a big hit off of Zach Greinke with bases loaded. That scored a couple runs. Twins took a 2-0 lead in the 3rd inning. And the Twins now lead 5-2. Baker out there starting his 7th inning of work.
Jason Kendall will lead off the 7th. First pitch grounded to the left side. Hardy backhands, plants, fires, and Morneau digs it out. 1 away. Hardy with, it looked like 1 foot on the grass and 1 on the dirt, and he delivered a low throw to just get Kendall.
I tell you what, we have seen so many good throws to Justin Morneau over there, and watch Justin right there. He makes a great play, a great pick right there. Good defense by the Twins.
And a quick first out here in the 7th. Here's Betancourt. 1 strike.
Quest high-speed pitch. Zach Greinke clocked as high as 94. Baker at 93.
One and one. Betancourt with a screaming line drive over the center field fence into the bullpen area. His last time up.
Yeah, this time up, Baker kind of changing speeds a little bit on Betancourt. He got that fastball, did not miss it, and hit it into the bullpen of the Royals. Betancourt coming over from the Seattle Mariner organization last year.
And a 2-hopper to Harris. 2 down. Roy, you spent some time over at first base. And it's a different world, I suspect, for all first basemen here now that the rug is gone and you've got real grass and real dirt.
Justin, just a terrific play by Justin. There are some easy throws to pick, which are the short hops or the real long ones, just like a ground ball. And then there's the in-betweeners, and that one was an in-betweener. If he doesn't catch it, it hits me over here in the camera well.
Darn it.
And I'm really glad he caught it. That terrific play because it skidded off the grass, and you really don't know if that ball's going to stay down or come up yet. To your point, Dick, and on the outside real surface here. And he kept his hands loose and kept the glove down, and the ball found it. It was really nice. People don't know how hard that play is. He made it look easy, but that was not an easy play.
We've seen Justin make so many great plays like that, and he's in line, hopefully, for a future Gold Glove over there at first base.
I agree with that, Bert, and I don't know that I can remember seeing a fellow improve defensively as dramatically as he has at first base since the first time he came up and was over there in the Metrodome. Because I think everybody would say, Justin included, I don't think he would have been considered a real good fielding first baseman when he first came up. And I think he's outstanding over there now. And it's a dramatic change. Good for him and how hard he's worked at it.
That's right. That's how you get better. You keep working hard. And Justin, one of the hardest workers of the Twins.
You know, one thing about Baker, who appears on the verge of completing 7 innings, as we've told you, Pat Neshek unavailable, Jose Maharas unavailable. This is a pretty big start for Baker. He wants to do well in every start, but this was one of those starts apparently where the Twins really needed him to pitch deep into the ballgame. The last thing they needed in the opening game of this series would be to get into their bullpen. Here's a roller, and Hardy to his left scoops it up. And Baker has indeed completed 7 innings. A 1-2-3-7 with 3 ground ball outs, giving the bullpen a bit of a break on a night when they may have needed it. Thank you for standing by us. For more information, visit buyatoyota.com. And by Quest High-Speed Internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. Good night for the Twins. A beautiful night. You see Minnie and Paul out there illuminated on a beautiful Friday night for baseball. The Twins logo high atop the center field stands. And Scott Baker has really pitched well again here tonight.
Yeah, 92 pitches after 7 innings, so hopefully Baker will go out there for the 8th. Nobody warming up in the Twins bullpen. Good job by Dusty Hughes last inning, coming in relief of Kyle Farnsworth, who put himself into trouble. Hughes able to get the 3 batters straight that he retired.
2-1 to Kubel. It'll be Kubel, Young, and Hardy trying to reload the bases and do some more damage here in the 7th. Oh, Hughes may have slowed it down, and that allowed Betancourt to make the play. And a dangerous play, but Hughes, I think, contributed to getting Kubel for the first out, and now might come out of the ball game with the run of lefties over with.
I tell you what, when you leave a ball out over the plate, you know it's going to come right back up the middle. Your reaction is get out of the way. Kubel going right back up the middle. Watch Hughes' reaction right here. Watch out. He did tip it a little bit. And Betancourt right there makes a nice play. So he gets an assist. But he thought his life leave, too.
Arby's value player of the game will be tonight, or should be. Text the word value followed by a space and the player's name to short code 234234. See if Pat Neshek is still leading the voting. He's still got 30%.
Gotta love that Neshek family.
Mauer Butera, Drew Butera in at 11%. A lot of guys with some free time on their hands. We'll have the results in the Twins postgame show.
Robertson Tejeda coming out of the bullpen, making his 5th relief appearance. 0-1 on the year out of that bullpen. He's had some control problems. 6 walks in 4 innings pitched.
Delman Young has done everything but gotten a base hit. He's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. Sednick with a great catch to take a hit away from him in the 2nd. A good catch to take a hit away from him in the 4th. And then Delman hit a sacrifice fly to center field to drive in a run in the 5th.
Well, we saw Hughes, a left-hander, with that short delivery. Tejeda has that long arm type of delivery out of the Dominican Republic in his 3rd season with the Royals.
And a half swing dribbler toward first. Butler to Tejeda. And a good play between the first baseman and the pitcher for out number 2.
Well, sometimes, Delman Young 0 for 4, but my goodness, he had some good at-bats here tonight. Does have an RBI, the sacrifice fly, 0 for 3.
J.J. Hardy will try to reach. Twins haven't been retired 1-2-3 since Greinke did it to him in the 2nd inning. Up and in, ball 1. One and one. 1-2.
Good changeup right there. That might have been the split finger. Tejeda with a fastball. Good fastball. Slider, split finger.
And Hardy strikes out. Tejeda cleans up the 7th inning. Sets the Twins down in order. Minnesota Twins have teamed up with the Minnesota State Parks and Trails to turn broken lumber into new trees. Every time this season a Twins pitcher breaks an opponent's bat, 100 new trees will be planted in Minnesota State Parks. The Twins support the state parks, and you can too. Learn more at www.mnstateparks.info. 7's enough for Scott Baker. He turns the game over to Matt Guerrero in the 8th.
Well, Matt's been almost perfect, making his 6th relief appearance. 5 1/3 innings, given up 3 hits, no runs, with no walks and only 1 punch out. Great numbers for Matt.
Around the hands, 1-1. Hits are even at 7 apiece. Baker didn't walk anybody in his 7 innings. It's hit to left. Almost right at Delman Young. 1 away.
You know, yesterday we talked about Francisco Liriano. I did about throwing strike 1. 27 batters he faced. He got 18 strike 1 on the hitter. And here tonight, Baker, 27 batters he faced. He was able to get strike 1 on 20 of the 27. And you look at Greinke, why did he pitch bad? 26 batters, get strike 1 on only 9.
Wow.
And that's what I mentioned yesterday. You know, if you look at the final scorecard at the end, which I always looked at, the batters that I faced, how many times did they get strike 1? If I did what Greinke did, I knew I probably didn't pitch very well. If I did what Baker did, I probably pitched a pretty good ball game.
1-1. Well, it's always nice to do that, but in Liriano's case, particularly impressive because of who he did it against. A Boston lineup filled with veteran hitters that like to work the count. They like to, take pitches, and it's one of the reasons Joe West was so upset with the Red Sox and Yankees for playing long games, because their guys, that's their approach to take pitches.
I don't care what kind of lineup you're facing. Get strike 1 and Roy Smalley, you have to agree with that. When you're out there in that mound or you're playing defense and you got a guy out there that's throwing strikes, a lot more fun to play behind.
Well, it sure is, Bert, but let me take the other side of that too. As a hitter, if you're hitting against a guy that goes strike one all the time. It puts a lot of pressure on you because you have to either swing at that first pitch or you're 0-1, and the pitcher's got the count in his favor, and it's really, really hard to hit. The statistics will bear it out. If you're hitting 0-1, you will not hit that well statistically for batting average. Strike one is incredibly important, and what Scott Baker did tonight, in addition to getting strike one so often, he did it with different pitches. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the post-game show too, but he went strike one with a breaking ball, and not just a flip up there, get me over breaking ball, but a breaking ball in a good spot, and that puts that thought in every guy on the lineup's mind on that bench, and he might throw anything anytime, and just that little bit of indecision makes his fastball quicker. And Burr, you know what that's like. You go strike one with a bunch of different pitches, and you're in control.
Sky to short center. Span puts it away, and Guerrero has a quick 1-2-3 eighth inning through a total of 8 pitches.
We are having a great time at our very first night game here at Target Field, and we're going to discuss that and a lot of other topics on Quest Twins Live, featuring the Toyota post-game wrap. Nighttime has descended upon us here at Target Field. The scoreboard in center field looks beautiful. Fans are having a good time. Everybody's enjoying the nighttime festivities here in downtown Minneapolis. Our instructional tonight is executing the tag with Roy, Anthony, Burt, and the rest of the gang. And plus, we'll have post-game reaction from the clubhouse, amongst other places. And guys, I've been getting heckled all night long for wearing my gloves. All night they say, "You're in Minnesota, take off the gloves."
I think they're right. Take off the gloves. You're from Philly. You're used to this weather.
Brendan Harris will hit for the Twins in the 8th inning. And we've been blessed here so far in this homestand with above normal temperatures. And while there is some coolness in the air, it's still, 50 degrees or whatever it is. And we could have temperatures 20 degrees colder than that very easily this time of year. Umpires have gloves on. 2 strikes to Brendan Harris. It's been talking about this ballpark and how great it is for the fans. The last out I particularly enjoyed. Butler hit a very tall fly ball to short center field, and I could see it through the entire flight of the ball. You could. The fans could see it. The ball just seemed to glow against the blackness of the sky. Very easy to see the baseball, which is the object of this game. And, of course, we don't have the concrete beam we've talked about at the other place, but sky pitch black. Harris taps it foul. And Span was able to follow it easily and make a routine catch on what should have been a routine fly ball. So often in the other place, the ball hit that high and the outfield was lost. Harris with a pair of hits. He might get an opportunity to play a lot in this series with Nick Punto coming up with a little bit of a groin pull. 2-2.
Well, he's responding tonight with a couple hits.
Beg your pardon, 3-2 the count.
I like the scoreboard. Absolutely beautiful. I feel like I'm sitting in my living room watching TV.
And a good plate appearance for Harris as he draws a walk. Great deals at the great new ballparks, and maybe the best is a ticket in the alcohol-free, the Our Family brand section, courtesy of the Our Family brand. Tickets are available for the rest of this series and the Cleveland games as well. You can get tickets in the Our Family section for just $22. That also gets you a Schweigert's hot dog and Pepsi. Log on to twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS to order tickets.
Twins have taken 7 walks here tonight.
Span drives it into the corner, but foul. Only one of the 6 prior walks have scored, but it sure congested the base paths and made it tough for Zach Greinke to get into any kind of a rhythm. Span has been hit by a pitch. He's walked. He's singled. One and one. Only home run of the night going to Kansas City's Yuniesky Betancourt. Twins hope to see Minnie and Paul shake hands yet here tonight. That's to left center field. And down for a hit. Span has his second hit. He's reached 4 times tonight. And the Twins have runners at first and second with nobody out.
Well, Twins get their 8th hit of the ball game. Let's see if the leadoff walk can score this inning for the Twins. A fastball. Span hitting it the other way. In front of Ankiel out in center field.
Hudson with a couple of walks. A single, a run scored, and a line out. John Roush warmed up. It would be a safe situation if the Twins don't score. And the Twins have an off day on Monday, and it might be that Roush would be asked to pitch anyway, but Guerrero only threw 8 pitches in his 8th inning of work. One and 0 to Hudson. That's into the right field corner and fair. Harris around third. He'll score. Span around third. He'll score. Hudson drives in 2 with a double.
Well, you never quit hustling, and that's exactly what Denard Span did from first base. Hudson picking up his 4th double of the year. Driving in 2 runs right here. The Twins take a 7-2 lead. Ball slicing right into that corner. By the time Jesus can get that ball back in, Span scoring all the way from first base.
So Span has reached 4 times tonight. Hudson has reached 4 times tonight. And here's Mauer. Strike on the inside corner. Roush hoping for his 6th save opportunity, but if he has that opportunity, it'll be because somebody else started the inning and ran into trouble. Foul to the screen. Now, if Guerrero, for instance, were to go back out there, it would be a save opportunity for him because of the 3-run lead in the 8th inning.
Right.
2 strikes to Mauer. One and 2.
Well, you saw Rick Anderson on the phone in the background. And it looks like John Roush continuing to throw.
Crane was warming up. Guerrero in the game. Neshek unavailable. Brian Dunsing has had a little bout of the 24-hour bug or food poisoning or something. Jose Majares has an elbow issue.
Well, Roush hasn't really worked. Well, Monday was the last time he was out on that mound out there.
4 saves on the road trip and only 1 opportunity on Monday, as you say, in the Boston series. Another 1-2 coming to Mauer. Tejeda taking his time. Foul back. So rarely do you see Joe swing outside the strike zone, and he may have gone after a pitch high. And again, we assume that Drew Butera will get the start for the noon game tomorrow. Will reach the seats.
Tomorrow a 12-10 game. It'll be Nick Blackburn against Gil Mesh.
Twins getting a couple of runs in the 3rd, a couple of runs in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, a couple so far here in the 8th. Still nobody out. And now Mauer takes up high, 2-2. Wastes another one. It was a close game at 4-1 when Zach Greinke left. Actually, it was 4-2 by the time someone else threw a pitch in the 6th inning. And the Royals had scored a run in the 6th, had runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 out. But then Scott Baker got the last 2 outs of the 6th, and the Twins got into the Kansas City bullpen and have opened it up. Hit hard to center again, and Ankiel retreats to make the catch. And Hudson with an errant throw by Ankiel, a strong throw. My goodness, he threw a screaming a throw from center field to the 3rd baseman, Payasco.
It's almost like he was on the mound again. It was a little bit wild on the outfield side. Hudson right there kind of looking at Scotty Alger saying, should I have tagged up? But Ankiel with that strong arm. And it takes the 3rd baseman off the bag, but the pitcher right there, Tejeda, was there covering the bag.
Here's Morneau. Strike one. Morno's walked and singled and scored. Popped up near the tarp and out of play. Two strikes to the Twins cleanup hitter. Still only one out in the inning. Another busted bat. And Justin's going through some lumber here in this homestand. That one broke off at the handle again, just like the last ball he hit, or the base hit he got in the 5th inning. Busted his bat in the same spot.
Well, guys go through a lot of bats. You got to get rid of the ones that do that. Find one that doesn't do that. Adam Hansen. Good firewood.
That kicks away from Kendall.
Well, looked like the split finger right there. Kendall maybe hit a shin guard or something, deflecting away, and allows Hudson to go from second to third. A wild pitch, charge to Tejeda. Split finger right off the plate, and then hits the shin guard of Kendall, deflecting away.
Infield in now, and Bloomquist and Betancourt fearing for their lives here. 2-2. A little bit easier, I suppose, to ask your infielders to play in for safety reasons on this grass turf. Always worried about the health of the players when the infield would come in on the artificial turf.
That's why you wear cups.
3-2. And you to this day wear one up here.
Oh, yes.
Full count to Morno. And Morno draws a walk. And Kadire will come up with men on base again here in the 8th. Back in the 3rd inning, a big hit with the Twins and Royals locked up in a scoreless duel. Kadire will have a chance to do more damage against the new Kansas City pitcher.
2 unearned runs in the 5th inning. The Twins have a nice 7-2 lead. Scott Baker worked the first 7 innings. Matt Guerrero shut out 8. Juan Cruz coming into the bullpen, or coming out of the bullpen for the Royals, making his 5th appearance. Cruz in his 2nd season with the Royals. Signed as a free agent a couple years ago out of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Had a very good year. Kind of disappointing year last year. He had some shoulder problems, put him on a disabled list for about 2 months.
Kadair lifts it foul over the Twins dugout, 1 strike. Been a long start to the season once the game has been turned over to the Kansas City bullpen for Bob McClure and the Royals. And another one foul. You know, obviously the Royals knew that it was a soft spot of their team last year, and you do what you can in the offseason. You've got some contracts you're stuck with. Juan Cruz has not done the job for them. Kyle Farnsworth hasn't done the job for them. And Cruz was supposed to be one of the guys who was going to be the most reliable. He had some good years in Arizona, and it didn't work out last year, and much the same again this year.
A couple of years ago, his name was mentioned to become a Minnesota Twin out of that bullpen.
1-2 to Kadair. Bouncer toward the hole and through for a hit. Kadair with another run batted in, and a seeing eye single to left.
Well, Kadair picking up his 3rd RBI of the ball game. Twins take an 8-2 lead by adding another run here, as Orlando Hudson scores for the 2nd time in the game.
You know what's happened in Kansas City, and I think most baseball people know that they've got one of the best closers in the game in Joaquin Soria. And we talk so often about, you know, how exhausting it is, how it wears on you when you have a lead and you lose it in the 9th. But if you're wondering why the Twins have been so protective of Matt Guerrero in the role that he's in, witness the Kansas City Royals. Here they are. They've gotten, for the most part, pretty good starting pitching. And they've got the great closer at the end. They just can't get the lead to the 9th inning.
Right. And that 7th, 8th inning has been disastrous for the Royals over the last 5-6 years.
Down and away to Kubel, 1-1.
I mean, a lot of ball games that are close, you'll see Soria come in the 8th inning to try to get 4 or 5 outs.
The one game they won against the Tigers, they had to bring him in to get the last out of the 8th and the 3 in the 9th. 1-1 to Kubel. Mariners have broken through against Jeremy Bonderman and the Tigers, scoring 3 runs in the 3rd. It's 3-0 Seattle. Detroit, Minnesota's closest pursuer, a half game behind the Twins in the Central standings. 2-1 to Jason Kubel. 3-1. And Eric Cooper, a little bit of a flinch behind home plate. And now Kubel draws another walk, his 2nd of the ball game. And they're loaded up now for Delman Young, who could use something good to happen to him here tonight. He's hit the ball hard 3 times and doesn't have a whole lot to show for it.
9 walks here tonight for the Kansas City Royal pitching staff.
And oddly enough, it started with their starter tonight.
Yeah, that's unusual outing for Zach Greinke.
Cruz is all over the place. Jim told me might not be needed tonight. Half swing, but a strike. 1-1. Twins pouring it on here in the 8th inning, and Orlando Hudson's 2-run double, the biggest hit of this inning. 2-1. Watch Twins Live. We'll hear from Orlando Hudson and have Scott Baker, certainly the manager Ron Gardenhire. Dribbled foul. 2-2.
Cruz, a tall, lanky kid, 6'2", about 165. First came up with the Cubs back in 2001. Pitched for the Braves, the A's, the Diamondbacks. Now in his second season with the Royals.
Two. And a little pop-up. Kendall near the railing. Can't make the play. Off his glove right on top of the railing and then into the Twins dugout.
Well, he had it in his glove just for a split second, but then made contact, it looked like, with the railing, and the ball fell out. Good effort right here. Kendall keeping his eye on the ball, knows he's near the Twins dugout. Mauer right there pushes him back.
No error on the play. And Young strikes out for the second out of the inning.
A big slider right there. Cruz gets his second out of the inning. Picks up his first strikeout.
J.J. Hardy will hit.
Ninth batter to hit this inning for the Twins.
Hardy with a single and 3 strikeouts. He's got pop in his bat. We've told you that, but also with that comes possibility, likelihood at times of a strikeout. He's never struck out 100 times in the season, but he did strike out 98 times a couple of years ago. 1-1. You know, we found out something I think we already knew. Minnesotans have coats. Gets cold, you put a coat on. Sit outside and watch a ball game. Big deal. We got caps, we got hoodies. And if you don't, there's a liner to left. And a base hit. That's going to score 2 more. So Hardy drives in a pair with a single. And the Twins have battered around and then some here in the 8th.
Well, Hardy picking up his second hit of the ball game. Now with 6 RBIs on the year. And the Twins have scored 5 so far here in the 8th inning. A breaking ball left middle in, and Hardy opening up. Lining it in front of Facetnik. Dyer with 2 outs. He scores from second base.
6 runs against the Kansas City bullpen in 2 2/3 innings so far. And Cruz fires one to the backstop, and thrown out at second is J.J. Hardy. You talked about that the other day. There's not a whole lot of room here, and Cruz couldn't retire a batter, so maybe he decided to use the backstop and retire a runner. Beautiful night here at Target Field. Minnie and Paul haven't shaken hands yet, but they're smiling. Twins in front comfortably now. And the Twins hope to wrap up this opening game of the series with Brian Dunsing on the mound.
Yeah, Matt Guerrero, good 8th inning. Brian Dunsing asked to close out this ball game, making his 4th relief appearance.
And strike one to Jose Guillen. To this point, Guillen has been held in check. A single his last time up, 1 for 3. And he squirts one foul. Toyota game reset with the Twins scoring first and then later often.
I don't think anybody would have said Baker against Zach Greinke it's going to be a 10-2 Twins lead.
No.
But a lot of good offense for the Twins. 11 hits in the ball game. Kadire with 3 RBIs in the game. J.J. Hardy with a couple.
Swing and a miss. Guillen's gone on strikes, 1 away. Rick Ankiel will hit. Pop up and a couple of strikeouts for the Kansas City center fielder. And a breaking pitch hitting Ankiel, and he'll go to first. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast on a cool night. Yuneski Betancourt hit one a long way to center field.
Boy, he really did. He got a fastball from Scott Baker and took it into the bullpen of the Royals for his 2nd home run of the year.
And Dunston comes back with another curveball that misses. Ball 1. Teospo, the hitter. That takes care of Mauer's mask and staggers him a little bit behind the plate. 1-1.
That ball foul straight back. Take a look at this. Pow. That'll loosen up the jaws. I'm telling you, I think I said it before that, during a ball game, I thought I was going to be a catcher for the game. Just on the bench, though, I wore that mask for 9 innings. Just sat there. The next day, my neck killed me.
1-2.
The life of a starting pitcher. What do you do between starts to entertain yourself?
That's into to second base. Out at second. No play at first. Ball that looked like it was headed up the middle, but it was hit right off the end of the bat. Didn't have much starch on it.
Had a lot of spin on it right there. And the Twins able to get 1. Teospo hustling down that line, staying out of the double play. Look at the spin right here. Kind of ate up Hudson, but he flips it over to J.J. Hardy. Teospo staying out of the double play.
And now Jason Kendall will hit. Strike 1 from Dunsing.
Well, that's one thing we have seen from the pitcher's staff here tonight. Get strike 1, where Kansas City has had a tough time getting strike 1.
Dunsing gets a piece of it and fires to first, but not in time. And where did that get him? Low on the leg someplace. And Rick Anderson and Dave Prumer, one of the trainers, and Dunsing says, "I'm fine. Don't even cross the line." And Gardy does a 180 and heads back to the dugout.
Kendall getting a fastball right here, hitting it right back up the middle, and looked like it hit the right shin area or the ankle area of Brian Dunsing.
First and second, 2 down, and that'll bring up Betancourt. Fastball down the middle of strike. Dunsing knows his job. It's not a pressure situation at all, but his job is to just make as quick a job as he can here in the top of the ninth inning, get the Twins off the field.
Well, no pitcher wants to go out there and pitch poorly, especially what the score is, 10-2. You still want to go out there and stay aggressive, and so far so good for Brian Dunsing.
And that's why I think emphatically motioned to the manager and the trainer, I got this. Just go back. I got it taken care of. And he comes back and throws strike 1 and strike 2 to the next batter. And a base hit to center, and the Royals are going to get a run. On an 0-2 pitch, a base hit for Betancourt, his third hit of the night. And the Royals weren't going to let Dunsing off the hook. And it'll bring up Bloomquist or Mitch Meyer.
Too good a pitch right here. He had an account. Dunsing trying to close the door, but left that breaking ball up, and Betancourt picks up his second RBI of the ball game. It's a 10-3 Twins lead.
Bloomquist. Bouncer to short. Hardy goes to Hudson, and the Twins win the opener handily, 10-3. Don't know that the Twins ever imagined that with Zach Greinke going for the Royals, Anthony, that they'd score 10, and they certainly didn't score 10 against him, but they did get 4 and got some clutch hits and beat the former Cy Young Award winner.
And start another series with a victory. We'll talk about the Twins' continued domination of the Royals. We'll be hitting the field for our instructional. Roy Smalley will show you how to slap down the tag at second base. We'll show you how Minnesota got to Zach Greinke tonight. His walk totals among the biggest in his career. And we'll take a look back at the first night game at Target Field. Twins win 10-3. Quest Twins Live next.